Yesterday evening, I decided I was going to make a couple of amendments to my Locavore diet project. And these amendments were compelled by at least two, what would I call them, reminders. One of them came in the form of something that my brother-in-law posted on Facebook. And what he said was that he really dislikes food waste and finds it to be unethical. And he related an occasion when he had some chop suey, a plate full of chop suey, and dropped it, and it fell on the floor. And he looked around, nobody was around, so he just ate it off of the floor. And that reminded me of the ethics of the issue with food waste. And before I began this project, I had, of course, been grocery shopping throughout the time previous to the project, and I have accumulated some foods that are not locavore around the house, but that if I don't eat them, they're going to go to waste. And it's true that that is really unethical, because all of this energy has already been put toward bringing the food into my kitchen. All of the different harvest and processing and transportation across countries, and possibly from overseas, but certainly from tropics and this and that. A lot of energy has been taken for, has been used for it to get here, and it would be unethical of me not to eat it, just to let it go to waste because I'm starting this locavore thing, right? So the whole idea behind the locavore thing is not to be a participant in the unethical food economy. And food waste is hugely unethical, and there's a big problem with food waste in modern countries, where we throw away so much food goes rotten. It's ridiculous. So in order to avoid as much as possible being part of that, I am going to allow myself to eat what is already here that's non-local in my kitchen that I've previously acquired, so that it doesn't just go to waste. That's one thing. And then the other reminder I had was, I was reading B.J. Penn's biography, and in chapter 9 he's talking about the first UFC fight that he lost, which was his fourth fight against Pulver, and it was the title fight. And the reason he lost it really seemed to me that he was being pressured into fighting back-to-back fights without having the any little bit of time off that he needed. He just had to keep training, and it became a thing where he was disciplining himself and overtraining. And I think in a way, like, it kind of killed his heart for that fight, where because of the whole discipline thing, he kind of rebelled against it, so his heart wasn't in the actual fight, and not having his heart in the actual fight, he lost it. And he lost it by decision, not by knockout, but I don't think he was in there to win. And I think he wasn't in there to win because he was rebelling against himself, in a way, and the UFC organization that had been compelling him to take so many fights so quickly. And this reminded me of something that I had mentioned in a prior video, maybe a month or two ago, about how I think that the whole notion of discipline is a wrongful approach, and that we should do something because we enjoy it because that's the thing we want to do and that's the thing we love, rather than trying to force ourselves, because it may not happen with everybody, but for myself, I kind of got a natural rebellious character where if somebody's trying to force me to do something, I'm going to go against it. And even if it's myself trying to force me to do something. And taking on a diet is kind of an attempt at discipline. And it's natural that I'm going to have a rebellion against that, even though it's my own discipline. It would be better to look at it instead of a diet, which is a short-term thing. I declared a year. Instead of looking at that, why not look at it as a lifestyle change, and that it's not going to be a year, that it's going to be long-term, and that it's not going to happen overnight, but it's something that I need to build, a practice, a lifestyle. And the way to do that in this case is not to purchase any foods that aren't local, or very few, and to work toward completely local, and even at that, work toward other ethical things, like looking at which local foods are actually organic, which are not processed, which are not GMO, this kind of a thing, where you're really kind of using economic power to contribute to healthy change in the world. And the food thing is so vast and huge. I mean, if a lot of people got on board with trying to change the food thing instead of just protesting, but actually eating ethically, then things would change. And so there's no way to make that happen except to do it, and so I'm gonna be doing it. So it will be me making those kind of choices for local foods and ethical foods in general, and healthy foods, because I should have a respect for my body as well, not just using the local thing as the it, because there's a lot of unhealthy local stuff too. Well, there's not a lot, there's not as much as there are in the global trade, but there is some unhealthy stuff, and I've been imbibing in that, and I need to knock it off, and work toward the healthier. Also, in that same vein, when I'm given food, as like this evening I went to a graduation, I was given a dinner, and I know only part of it was a Locavore dinner, but still, when I'm given food, it's already, I haven't purchased it, it's been given to me. If I don't eat it, it's going to waste. And so the best thing to do in that situation is eat it. And when you have an opportunity to get food that is going to otherwise go to waste, you should take that opportunity. And so in this respect, vegans are ethical eaters for sure. Even though they're not locavore eaters, they're ethical eaters, because they're going through the dumpsters and they're taking the stuff that's going to be wasted, and I applaud that. And to the extent that that will be a part of my life will be through things like this, where I'm in a situation where a bunch of food is going to be wasted if I don't eat it or don't take it home with me or what have you, in which case I'll take it or I'll eat it, but I won't buy it. I won't contribute financially to that thing. But if somebody else has already made that unethical decision to buy non-local food, and they put it out there and it's going to go to waste if nobody eats it, then I'll eat it, or I'll take it home and I'll eat it. So those are the changes that I'm making to my project, and the reasons, the rationales behind them. And I think there's going to be a lot of learning that comes through this project, and this is just one of the first lessons.